Good afternoon. I'd like to introduce my guest today. This is Mrs. DiCeglio, and she is a resident of North Hill. And she is going to talk about North Hill from the past and present. Mrs. DiCeglio, tell us about North Hill. You grew up in North Hill, and you've lived there all your life?
Well, I am 91 years old, and I've lived on North Hill all my life. And what do you want to know exciting about North Hill?
What was your favorite thing that you did as a young woman on North Hill?
Oh, not too much. I mean, it was a lot different then. We'd go out and play in the street, play tag, never locked our doors, had a ball, no money, but always had a good time. That's what I miss now. You can't even lock your door and it doesn't do any good. You have to triple lock it. You don't dare play in the street, you'll get killed. I mean, that's a few little good things that.
So you had fun. And was your husband from North Hill also?
Yes, he was from down on Cahoga Street, Muscle Street. He lived there all his life. And the way I met him is my brothers were baseball players, and he played ball with my brothers. And they were friends for years and years and years and years, and that's how I met him.
So you had a wonderful life on North Hill. Did you raise your children on North Hill also?
We have never left North Hill. I'd never want to leave it. Where I live, I'm centrally located. I live off of Talmadge Avenue, North High School. There's a fire station there. DeVitas is at the corner. What is that, Harris School?
Yes.
Harris School. What is it? Forest Hill
Hills.
School, where they all went to school. I went to Jennings. I went to Findlay, and I went to North High. And, I've been there all my life, that's all.
So you've had at least 3 generations of family that's went to North High School and graduated?
Yeah, well, Gary, you know where Gary went. Joyce and Carol went to North, yeah. They went to North High School and graduated, yeah.
Yes, I would also like you to talk a little bit about your job as the first woman copy girl at Beacon Journal.
Well, it was so funny. My husband was in the service, and I had worked a little bit at Goodyear, and I was hunting for a job, so I read an ad saying that they needed a copy boy at the Beacon. So I called and I put in my application, and I thought, hey, it just said they needed a copy boy, assuming it could be copy boy. So I put my ad in and I got a call, and Mr. Maidenberg, and he said, no, it was not Mr. Maidenberg, it was one before him. I can't think of his name right now. And he said, is this Tommy DiCeglio? And I said, no, this is Connie DiCeglio. And he said, oh, are you a girl? And I said, yes. He said, oh, no, we just have boy copy girls. We've never had a copy girl. He said, oh, what the, he said, come on in, the job is yours. So I had that job for 7 years. Beautiful, wonderful place. But it's nothing like it is now. It was one great big room, and everybody was in there. You had, here was the managing editor. This was the, is that okay if I, and this is where the society, and Mr. Knight, God love him, he was a wonderful guy. He was at the corner, and the other end over there was Schlemmer, the sports place, and in the middle was the morgue, the reference department, but we called it the morgue. And then you went through there, and that would be the composition. You went out that door, there was art there. And then there was this one little hoozy place that had where the stocks and bonds and all the news came in. Well, that was one of my jobs. We would get stocks and bonds from New York on a little miserable tick tape from New York, and then I'd have to get it, and I'd have to do it, and then bring it out to the copy desk, and then they would, and that was one of the jobs, that I had. I was also Ida Jean Kane, and I was also traffic, police, the courthouse, marriages, divorces. That was my whole spiel,
From the
being a copy girl. Mm-hmm. And then I had about 2-3 people that would be working under me. In fact, one of the people, Bill Considine from Children's Hospital, well, his sister just we were very young then. And she worked for me too at one time, and then from Goodrich, I think it was the president of Goodrich. I'm not sure. His daughter. They used to get these kids to work in society. The sweetest, nicest girl you could know. And she worked at society, and we got to be real good friends. Well, they were wealthy, and we were very poor. Okay, so I would make me a sandwich, cheese and whatever, and bring it. And she'd come and sit with me, and her maid made her sandwiches. And the sandwiches were little petite with no. And one day she said, "Would you mind if I could taste one of your sandwiches?" So from then on, I brought her a sandwich every day. Now, this is a big shot, you know what I mean? Okay, that's one of the incidences. But, it was a, please, I'd go down to the police station, and I met all there, they'd give me food and stuff, And I probably shouldn't even say this. But then, I was young. I was, 21, 22? And Tom, he was the guy big shot there. He showed me, I shouldn't even say it.
Okay, then you don't have to say it.
Well, yeah, they were things that of ill repute, you know what I mean? They were toys that people used. I didn't know what they were. And I said, "Oh, how cute, how are cute." And later on, he told me what they were. But, that's just something that you could either eliminate or what have you.
Yeah.
But I got a lot of that, a lot of divorces, a lot of marriages, a lot of people saying, "Oh, don't put my age in." I had a beautiful, wonderful job. And then Miss Bainberg's secretary, she was my dear, dear, dear friend. And she'd send me downtown to O'Neill's to buy her Belshemere hose. And I had a job that I was 7 years, anybody would give their eye teeth for. I really enjoyed it. And they were all good. They treated me like, except as I wrote in my thing there, Schlemmer. Every word, he would yell. It was one big room, and he'd yell, "Gee, yes," swearing all the time. And he was real mean to me, so I went to him one day, and I said, "Jim, you stop that yelling, and you start treating me nice." From then on, he treated me like his daughter. He was very, very nice. There's so many things that happened there that were such nice things, But what else would you like?
I'd like to know what was your favorite thing that you did as a child on North Hill?
What did I do as a child? I should have been a boy, because I played baseball, basketball, volleyball. I ran. The Beacon used to have all kind of races and stuff, and I was fast at running. I was fast at throwing. So they would all bet on me when I ran. So this one, Joe Costello, he used to work there in the printing place, and he would bet on me all the time. Well, I wouldn't, but one time I ran and I slipped and I fell, and he was so mad at me because I didn't win. Just little things like that, No, I had a good, but I should have been a boy because I liked all the activities,
Of the boy.
And then I had a sister that was very petite. She was a beautician, and her fingers were done, and her hair was done. And I had stockings that had holes in them, and I was a boy, you know what I mean? And those were just little things that happened that you remember, and you wish you could do them again, you know what I mean?
Where was your favorite place to buy food at in North Hill?
Oh, I don't know. Well, I was very, very young. We were very poor. We were on welfare, and I couldn't wait for that truck to come to bring us our basket. And I remember apple, what is in a jar? Not apple pudding, no. Applesauce, something like. And we couldn't wait for them to bring that. Little things like that. And then I probably shouldn't even say this, but we were so poor that my mother would take a penny and put it in is it the electric thing, to make it go less?
Yes.
And so my mama said, "Anytime you see a strange man walking up the street, call me right away and I'll take the penny out." These are things I shouldn't be telling, but who cares? Everybody's dead now. It's not going to make any difference. So we had.
And go ahead.
Oh, we had all kind of cherry trees, and we get up on that and eat the cherry. There was so many wonderful, wonderful memories, and that was on 736 Carpenter Street. I remember that we lived there for a long, long time, and we just lived right in the same vicinity. There was two stores, a brick store and a small store, and the reason I say that, the brick store was, well, they had more stuff, and the little store was called Julian's or something like that, anyhow. And, I mean, and that's just little, and the girls that lived there were my friends, you know what I mean? It was just some, now they're all gone. And I remember my girlfriend lived right next door to me, and we were, Doolin's is this little store here, and then there's a street running here, and then my street, Carpenter. And we were running across the street one day, and we got halfway there, and a truck came, smashed into my girlfriend, my little girlfriend. She was only about 8 or 9, and killed her. And I landed on the sidewalk. Now, I never, my kids said, why didn't you ever bring that up? It never came until I've been in the hospital about 4 times. It never, Gary, you never knew that either. And it killed her. Her name was Catherine, and my first baby that was born dead, I called her Kathy. But, I mean, just little things that you remember like that, you know.
Did you go ice skating at the gorge?
Not too often. I wasn't, no, I didn't. We did, but my kids all did. All my kids went there. And, remember Summit Beach Park? Anybody
Yes.
remember that?
Yes, I remember it.
Oh, that was our big thing. We'd have big picnics there, and that's where all the races were. And me and my sister and my brother used to win all the, we were good. Now I can't even walk, but that was, you know, in my youth. Yeah, that was a good, that was a nice, and then there was water there, and that's all gone. So what else exciting do you want to know?
Oh,
I did not have an exciting childhood. I just had a common, everyday, fun-filled, youth.
What church did you attend?
I attended St. Martha's. And then when St. Anthony's was going to be built, my father helped build it. And we went there from then on, you know. And my daughter teaches there now. She coaches there now. And I still go to that church.
So you go to St. Anthony's then?
St. Anthony's, yeah. I don't know what church Gary goes to, but
Ask her what she meant about my dad came from the bottom of the hill and she lived at the top of the hill.
Oh, yeah.
He lived on Muscle and she lived on Carpenter.
Carpenter, well, Muscle, that was God's country down there.
And God, what do you mean by God's country?
Well, they were all little, they were black and Polish and Italian. They were just people, imports, I don't know what you would call them. And I lived on top of the hill. So we were a little bit higher than they were. But we used to get a big kick out of that, you know.
Yeah.
But, we did, I mean, there was a lot of, why did you bring that up for?
Now, were you, so your parents were first generation Italians to North Hill?
Yeah, well, my mother was only about 10 years old when she came here, and my father was about 14 years old. He said he left and he would never go back. So then I don't know where they landed, but anyhow, my mother lived in Chicago. So my father got my mother, I think she was 17 or 16, and he grabbed her and eloped with her, took her away.
And then they came to Akron?
Akron, yeah. But my mother was the oldest of 8 children, and she never had a doll. All she did was change diapers and take care of her brothers and sisters. She was the oldest. And before she died, she had all kind of dolls, and she would make wigs and play with the dolls because she never got to play with dolls when she was little. And so my mother was one person in a million. She was a saint. And there has never been anybody as good as her except my sister-in-law. I have a sister-in-law that I call my sister and my brother-in-law, because she's such a nice, he's nice too, but I love her, you know.
So tell me about your wedding. Were you married in St. Anthony's?
And let's start that.
Okay.
My husband is Protestant, and I'm Catholic.
Okay.
And they were anti-Catholic. They detested Catholics, okay? I mean, I'm going to really tell it. And he was never going to marry me. He was never going to go with me. Never. Okay? All right. On Saturday, he came home on furlough. I was 20. I wasn't old enough yet. He came home on a Saturday, and we went to the courthouse to get married. We got there. It was 11:30. And I don't know why it was a judge, it was a woman. And she said, well, honey, you can't get married. You're not old enough. She said, I'll tell you what I'll do. if you go get your mother, my mother told Joe, go get your mother, bring her here, and I'll keep the courthouse open, and I'll marry her. And she did that. So we went to Cleveland, came home, had a lunch. We got my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, my godmother, my sister-in-law, got them all in a car, took a trip to Chicago where his brother, my husband's brother, was in the Navy to go see him. That was my honeymoon, and that was my wedding. And I was going to have a big wedding, doodly-doodly-doo. Okay. As far as children, I wanted 10 children.
10 children.
Could never have any. I love children. I was married 9 years, could never have any children. I finally got pregnant, and it was a stillborn. So then I adopted 2 children, the joy of my life, had a miscarriage. Then I had Joyce, my youngest one. And God sent me the best that he had because she took care of my husband for 3 years. He was so sick. You can ask Gary. Took care of me. I was sick. We were both in the hospital at the same time. And she coaches at Walsh, teaches at St. Anthony's, and came every day to take care of her father. So, I mean, you have to, her name is Joyce Bowers. If you're going to do anything, you put her name in there. And my dear son is Gary Michael. My other daughter, Carol, she lives in Florida. Yeah. But anyhow, now that's, so that's the story of my life. Now, what else do you want to know exciting?
Okay, I want to know, what thing do you miss the most from your childhood that you wished was back in North Hill again?
I just wish things were like, right now things are going so fast. You wake up, it's time to go to bed. At then, you had nothing and you had everything. You know what I mean? You
Yes.
had nothing. And that's what I miss the most. And we used to have family gatherings. Oh, we were smaller groups then. And we'd go to my house, and Papa we'd play little, like bingo with the little kids, and have penny cards and put I mean, we had such a close, that's why I can't understand how the families are in this day and age. We were always together, always. But as the families grew, everybody had their own thing. But that's what I miss the most. All our family Christmases and Easters and holidays, and everybody would take a turn and have a turn. Well, my turn was a Thanksgiving, and I would make a soup with a thing that I call a ricer. It was called mullenbein. It was like a Jewish matzo ball, only you grated it and you put it in the soup. Those kids, well, we must have been at the time about 30. The kids would call me up ahead of time and tell me, Aunt Connie, are you going to make that soup? And I'd say, oh, I'm not even coming. I'd have to make a thing this big, full of soup, and then you grate it. It is good. They still want me to make it all the time for them. But see, that's what you like, the camaraderie, how do you say, with the family. We had such a close-knit. Now I don't even know some of my nieces and nephews. My one nephew I think there's about 20 in his family. My sister-in-law, my brother, he's dead now. How many? Oh God, they're about 20. My brother they were very busy. They had about, about 25 kids. So everybody has their own little. Now in our family, like I have people, some are allergic to cats, some are allergic to dogs. But we go like Gary and us. We go. We get together, and every Sunday my family comes over in the afternoon. I make spaghetti, and we all meet, and because like his daughter, is it who's allergic to cats? You, but you come though. I mean, some are allergic to dogs, some are so they all meet at my house. It's really nice. And we have a dinner, and then every day now, my grandson is a teacher and he's a coach. Kelly, I don't know, she works for Akron General, and she's a coach, and they all live different places. Joyce's a teacher and a coach, and they never get to see each other. So every afternoon, they come over, and I make a soup or something for them to come every afternoon to come and have lunch at my house, and that's the only way they get to. I mean, those are little things that are happy things. And then there's been sad times where my husband was sick for 3 years, and so was I. And Yeah, I was in the hospital 3 times last year, and so was he. He was in 4, that last one he was in. But, I mean, thank God. I mean, God is good, you know what I mean? He wouldn't let me live 91 years old if I must have done something right in my life, right?
Yep.
And then when my husband lived down on Muscle Street, in the back of his house, there was what would you call it? Not a trash plate. What do you call it where they used to throw
Dump, a dump.
a dump, yeah. And O'Neill's and Polsky's would bring their trucks back there and throw all beautiful stuff away. So everybody in the neighborhood would go down and get dishes and toys, and they just dumped it. So that was one real, happy, not for me, because I didn't live down there. And Joe said that they had a good time. They'd take potatoes and roast them, and I mean, now, my God, a kid doesn't even know what a roasted potato is. And then marshmallows, and you do them out there, and well, there was some happy times. But he played basketball. And he's this one little Polish and Italian and the black people. They were brothers down there, just like that. That's how it should be today. But anyhow, they had a little club. I don't know why. I hope I'm not getting anybody in trouble. Anyhow, this little club, it would be in the back there. And they'd go there, and we'd go back there, and we'd talk. We have little dances. And he had one cousin. Oh, he was so ornery. His name was Dominic. He was so bad. He was ornery. And one day I'm sitting there playing cards, and I'm going, gee, it's hot in here. He had lit a fire under my chair, just to be funny. Another time, he put a dime on somebody's forehead. And he said, see how long you could hold it. He took a fun and put water in him. I mean, these are all little things that were fun that we did. Now people don't know how to have fun like that. You know what I mean? Joking
Yes,
around.
right.
And it didn't cost anything because nobody had
Had
money,
money.
you know. So, I mean, those are a lot of there was a lot of unhappiness, but there was a lot, like when people died, they had to wear black forever, and you couldn't have a radio on. Oh, God, how could you, that was a time then, that's all.
Tell them about your secret sisters, the extended family type stuff.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Now, we have a group that we have been together since I got married. At least 60 years. There's 8 couples. Never had an argument, never had a fight. We went on all our vacations together. Beautiful, beautiful. We'd go dancing, what do you call it, at the barn dancing. We did everything. We had a group. We'd go golfing out in Niles, and never had any trouble. And then we went to where was that, Gary? Not Niles, the one before that.
Beverly.
And we went to Beverly, and we all had cabins there, and everybody would bring a dish, so that you would have to serve one night a week. And the guy let us have his barn, and we'd pick corn, and I mean, and it didn't cost you anything, and nobody had any fights. Everybody got along beautiful. I mean, today, my God, you look at somebody with a smirk and they'll kill you. You know what I'm trying to tell you? What a difference in life.
How about the Christmas parties at Cauga Street? What was that diet club?
Oh, La Joya?
La Joya, that was.
Oh, yeah, I belong to this. It's called a La Joy. That means Old Joy Club.
Okay.
I have been in it. Oh my God, I wasn't even married, and I was married 70 years. He just died. When did he die?
Last
Yeah.
year.
I was married 70 years, and I've been in that club. I was in that club. I don't know if I was married. I don't think I was married when I was. No, I was not married. All those years, and we did everything. It was a beautiful, beautiful. Now there's only about 13 of us left, and still we'd like to have mother-daughter banquets, and we want to quit now because now all the children, our children, will not let us break up that little from about
Person.
50 people to about 10. They said no, they will handle it. They will give the party themselves because we play bingo, banco, and our children are taking over, and they are taking because we want to quit it. I mean, come on, we're tired. Nobody drives. No, they don't want to
Well,
because it's over 70 years old.
Well, What were some of the names of the people in that club? Because those were all North Hill people.
People. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
What were their names? They all
Oh,
the same
God, all
names.
big Dago names, who knows?
Well, let's hear some of them.
Oh, DiCeglio Lacasio, that's my maiden
Lacasio.
name. Civarella. Oh, God, come on, Gary. Lutz. My brother-in-law was Lutz. Oh, come on, I can't think of them. There's so
Bazzelli
many.
in it?
Cortese.
Was Bazzelli part of it?
Oh, yeah, Madeline Bazzelli. Everybody knows Matt.
I
Oh,
know.
well,
She's a hero of mine.
Well, she's a personal friend. I mean, we grew up together. Come on, you know a lot of them. Capozzi, Campanelli,
Flasco?
huh?
Wasn't Flasco?
Flasco, yeah, his boyfriend just died. Oh, there's so many of them.
Yeah.
There's Spinelli, Richie Spinelli. That was Joe's best friend,
Yeah.
and he passed away last year. But, I mean, such a, you know.
How many homes did you live in on North Hill?
Well, when Joe went in the service, I stayed with my mother. Then we bought a house. This is Carlisle, and we lived on Aberdeen, right here. And we lived there. And the people over here were so nice, and they would let my mother and us come from their backyard to our house. Even when I was married, I was a mama's. I would go there every night and eat supper at my mother's house.
What
Isn't that
street- Where
fun?
did you live on North Hill? You lived on Carpenter,
Carpenter,
Aberdeen,
Aberdeen.
and then we lived here.
Carlisle.
Carlisle Street, and now we lived on here. How old is Joycey? 57 or?
House was 56 years old.
We've lived there. She was 2 weeks old when we went there.
Yeah.
Tell
Is
them-
that too much?
That's enough. Thank you. It's been very
Well,
interesting.
if you wouldn't have asked me, I wouldn't have known what to tell you.
Yeah.
No, all the last parts are unhappiness. I mean sickness but oh, what a wonderful life. My husband was a painter. He worked for General, yeah, and he was loved by everybody. The people that came to did you? No, you didn't.
No,
Came
I
to the
didn't.
funeral said they have never been to such a beautiful funeral in all their life. In fact, I think I have a picture of those kids. My kids did it all. It was the most beautiful funeral. They put all the stuff he loved into the casket there. Gary, what was in there? A little my grandson put a base. He hated to do dishes. He detested, and that was his job. He never had to do nothing. And I forgot. I wanted to get a little teacup, and I forgot to put that in. But I mean, everybody that. And on we were well liked. I mean, I'm not bragging, but Joyce on her cell phone got 80 people, kids that grew up in our neighborhood, that we put up basketball for them and we did this for them. See, the Acme was, where the Save-A-Lot across the street from North was an Acme. And when that went down, there was nothing there. And Joe, they played baseball, and Joe put up a basketball thing. And I mean, the kids, and then my neighbor committed suicide, and Joe took care of their kids. I mean, there's so much. It takes you years to know all the stuff that we have done for people, but we're not here to talk about that. We're talking about but anyhow, these people are still coming to visit me.
Good.
And I have California, the little Petey, he was a little Polish guy. He said, he called and he said, I have to tell you that Joe was like my father. Everybody loved my husband. They like me too, but I mean, I'm talking about my husband. He was very, very well loved. In fact, his minister, I'm Catholic, and his minister was he'd come and he'd stay for hours because we'd talk, and I'd say, get your own coffee. And I mean, I'm making him fill it up. So that's how his life was. And we have so many friends. So no, I told Gary and Joycey, I said, no, you can get ready. For me, I don't know when, but it's going to be their job now.
Okay.
You know?
Well, thank you for taking the time to speak about
Well,
North
if you
Hill
wouldn't have
and your
told me,
life.
I wouldn't have known
Yeah,
what to say.